One. Welcome, everybody. This is our third in a segment of 6 different episodes that we're calling participation showcases. It's a little bit of profiling what our 2024 year looks like in the Guild, a little bit of canvassing for people that might want to step up and join us on the ground floor as we get this phoenix that we call the Grey Swan Guild rising in the air. And then in the non-recorded session, for the people that aren't in our live audience, we'll have a fulsome Q&A discussion in terms of some of the stuff that we discussed, what it means, implications, how do we get involved, what are some of the key questions. So with no delay, and I know I've had challenges in the past, so I'm going to rely on Chuck here to just give me a thumbs up to say that he's seeing the presentation. Great. So if anybody has ever managed, even if you manage your family or manage a team at your work or manage a company, if you've got the advantage, it is a huge responsibility. It is also an immense task in terms of keeping everybody interested, engaged. This job was certainly much easier in 2020, where we had 40 passionate souls that got together. We were all quarantined at home. There were so many things operating in our favor at the time. Now we're over 10,000 members of Guild, still growing every month by about 2%, 3%. And, it tends to be tougher to actually knit the ties that bind us. And so we're trying to make that easier based on force of passion, amount of really cool magnetic ventures that crop up, the caliber of the stuff that we produce. And with respect to today, hopefully some conventions that we put in place that make our community and networking gathering together that much easier. So I'm going to go for about 20 minutes. We'll record this. I'll stop record, and then we'll have a FAQ discussion. I've started every one of our segments with this excerpted quote from William Arthur Ward. We really are looking for not just people that join us on the core, but in general, people that join us in the Guild. We think there's a special breed of people out there that like what we do, and my hope is do more than the average. I just posted on my LinkedIn this week that the only reason that in sports or arts or business or politics or whatever field of life, the only reason the top 5% succeed is because they're willing to do more than just the expected. And I think that's what we try to gather within the Guild. So as mentioned, we've got 6 different facets of what our Guild is all about. Today, we're talking about community and network. We've had some really good discussions around events and content. Interestingly, this is fresh data from our General Assembly at the end of 2023. A lot of different pie graphs, every one of them getting some love, but 33% of us, 1/3 of the entire kind of front row of the Guild has said networking and community is the most valuable thing they find in the Guild. And so we want to pay more than just lip service and credence to this. If I look at our history, we started out as a passionate group. We turned it into a movement in 2021. We kind of grew into an entity of experiments in 2022. We certainly added ventures and becoming an organization in 2023. And I think this year is the year of networks and community. I really do believe that, whether it's on the for-profit side of the fence or not-for-profit side of the fence, we think there's a lot of different things that can gather people around. We have our own vernacular in the Grey Swan world. Some people find it interesting. Other people that just join us go, what the heck? And so really quickly, Grey Swans, there are possibilities, wild cards, rare extremes. We like to consider these camps, the 25% chance of happening, the 5% chance of happening, and the 1% chance of happening. And we're a Guild dedicated to surfacing some of that intelligence around the things that tend to blindside us. A wedge in our parlance is a team. So when we get a wedge together, you might hear people say that. That's just getting a team of people together to lift things off. A wrap is a summary of what we end up doing. Good news tends to be a ritual that we talk about in many of our meetings. A regatta is an onboarding. A wave is some kind of new community effort that we've gone out to the world and are canvassing for contribution. And the fifth place, we've talked about this a lot in our regattas. We don't talk a lot in other places, but we are a different type of community in your world. If you look at the different places that are out there, you've got your home, you've got your work, you've got your local community, you've got your industry networks that you've set up. We're this group over here vying for your attention, saying, hey, if you're interested in a global group of people that does some really cool stuff and hopefully opens your minds, tries to mine what's out there and give you a much more broadened headspace about making sense of the world, well, that's us. And so we think, averagely people have told us that, they'd love to spend about 7 to 8 hours in the guild every month. And so we need to be able to service those 8 hours. And so that's what today's discussion is all about. If I look at the breakdown of probably closer to where we are right now, one of our focus areas for this year is to make sure that the core, we've got a very solid core of 400 to 500 swans. We'll tell you how that breaks down, but outside of that is probably contributors that show up to our events, perhaps contribute to some of our research or some of our writing. And then we've got a large group of people around that may join us for the odd occasional thing if they're inspired by the topic or another. And so that's kind of our circles around us. It truly does it takes a village to make sense of the world. It's funny, Eva's going to hate me for the placeholders, but we've just added 7 people into our midst in terms of guild leadership. So these are kind of, I guess, if you will, the 18 most important leaders in the guild. I'm sure we're going to add more people. You've got the flag up there in terms of we're looking for 30 more people that are stepping up and playing leading roles within our guild. Myself and Rob are the co-founders. We've had other people that have had just a long history of track records of leading different things in the guild. And certainly some of the new folks have stepped up and said, yep, you know what? I am more than happy to lead some of our stuff. I'll identify Ralph Mercer as one of my keeners over the last month who's agreed not only to run our book club, which is great. We've got a plan to review 10 books together as a community, but he is also going to be a curator of one of our top 3 events, the GSG Book Festival. Motivations for joining us. There's a lot of them, but thankfully, people that decide to join our community decide to join us for our vision, making sense of the world's biggest challenges and future gray swans. There's other things down the line. I think we serve many of those motivations. Here's where we'd like to move community and network from and to. I've always liked kind of any kind of business document that says, okay, everything's great, but where were you short of in previous worlds and what are you moving to? And so a lot of our community efforts, really, it was based on serendipity and what conversation you had with who you knew and were they connected enough to actually be at the chains and the wheels of command here. My hope is we get to a plan and a platform and a community base of doing things that makes some of the stuff self-organizing. A lot of our activities, candidly, happen through email and Slack. Slack is not many people's preferred form of collaboration. We're hopefully going to switch that to a platform. We've built community in large part to lift a lot of the activities that we have off. We do about 60 events a year. 4 of them tend to be really, really big. We want to move to fit for purpose. We have a couple of different leanings this year in terms of what we're calling platinum swans. There's some learning areas that we want to pursue, and obviously community once again. A lot of times community, it's like you won't hear from us for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, we have something major to talk about. And so a lot of times it's around our events where you get a lot of our communication. My hope is this can be a year-round full beehive of community. And then finally, a lot of our community is open and experimental. we love the open kind of treehouse aspect of the guild, but we'd love to turn this into commercially relevant things as well for the people that want to drive value out of our guild. So there were about 10 new guild or substantially changed community network initiatives in 2024. There's easily at least 100 opportunities for people to step in and play leading roles. We'd love to talk about some of them here. This is a busy slide. They say only have 5 points on a slide. Well, we've got 26 points here, but it goes to demonstrate some of this kind of extent in terms of whatever your motivation. I'm sure we can find some of it within the guild. On the left-hand side are things that we do as a Grey Swan Guild, the not-for-profit entity that is what we do. On the right-hand side is our Cygnus Ventures group, which have a burgeoning set of different things designed to create value, whether it's educational, societal, or commercial value for the world. And so, there are different characteristics to either, but both serve, I think, a similar purpose in terms of making sense of the world and bringing people together in community. I'm going to go in detail to some of the stuff on the left. I know there may be questions. We actually have something later this week called Ventures that we're going to talk about. And I'm just going to move where people are so I can talk at least about 3 ones that I think mine ventures the most. We've got Compendium and Compass. Eventually we're going to have about 150 people that are either part of the guild now or will be part of the guild that hopefully contribute some type of wiki to making sense of the world from a framework and method standpoint. As mentioned, once a month, we're going to be reviewing stuff from a guild, a GSG Book Club standpoint. Right now, if I can find it somewhere on my desk, or maybe it's in my my thing, we've got a book about technology and AI this month called The Coming Wave. So March 6th, we're getting a group of us together to discuss that. And then finally, we're looking for a group of 14 writers to write 3 times a year in something called the Guildstack. And so people might have heard about Substack. This is not only a great way to get some of your best intelligence out, but to make it commercially viable as well. And so that's another aspect of community we're looking at. I'm going to dip into the 8 things, maybe 7 things on the Grey Swan Guild side of the fence. Community network. This year, we are doing something I guess we're calling GSG Live. We're doing our first live in-person events. October 25th is our working date. It's going to be dependent on venue and city that we choose, but we're going to get a group of us together in one city. Hopefully we'll blend with a whole bunch of locals from that city as well. And theme TBD, city TBD, but we're looking forward to getting together and meeting people in real life. We understand community is only solidified when we actually get together in real life. Community networking number 2, we have a steering group of people here. I call it the 50 people that make this guild hum. There's about 18 of us as part of this group now. They're key leaders and chief interests and community catalysts.
Oh, so I have the baby. Okay.
Oh, I think somebody's not muted.
Off for a little bit.
Okay.
1 month. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Chuck,
Cool.
unless you find
I'll
the
touch
person
this.
first. I think I found the person. And so we're looking for people that as they step up into these roles, we meet once a month. We communicate fairly frequently with each other. We're looking for people to step up into this group to, I think it's a benefit to those people to see what's going on in the rest of the guild, even if it's not particularly directly relevant to them. And B, it's a reflection of just the influence they should have in how we operate and how we steer our stuff. We have done at least 60 events whose primary motivation is, in true guild fashion, to help people learn and build their craft. We're going to do 4 education days this year where we gang up easily 8 to 12 of these craft building events in the same day. We're also introducing something called mini master classes, so 3-hour classes that would be paid events, discounted for members, but they're all designed to hopefully make sense of the world, doing it in a way that you can make sense of the world for yourself. And craft building events tend to be things that you go, wow, I don't know much about that, but I would love to know more. Some of our master classes are maybe core disciplines that you just want to go deeper on. Gray Swan Guild Town Halls, we've done about 40 of these. We're going to change them up this year. We're going to do them less frequently. They're going to be bigger. And we're going to try to globalize ourselves and only conduct them in places that really, as a guild, we feel like we need, a greater expanse of people. So Southeast Asia, the Alps, the Gulf, Latin America, we're all going to try to extend out. I know there might be interest. We're going to just get through the next 5 minutes, and then we're going to open it up for questions. My hope is this is, Chuck, give me the thumbs up that this is still going through the slides. All right, good. We also have hosted every month for the last probably 2 years, new member onboardings. You're part of the inside club, so you get to know this now. Oftentimes we ask it as a trivia question, why call these things regattas? Well, little known to us 4 years ago, it's a murder of crows, a raft of ducks, an unkindness of ravens, but a group of swans that gathered together on the water is called a regatta. So there you go. We need another 2 leaders to help us manage some of these new member onboardings quarterly. They're going to be bigger. They're going to be more substantive. They're probably going to be longer as well. And they hopefully will get new members to think, wow, these people are really cool. Wow, I just got to meet some of the most important people in the guild, and they check out for me. How do I get involved? Where can I play best? Last couple of things here, Salons and Ateliers. Some of our events are designed to, invite new members in, gather around a topic of extreme importance and consequence, reveal new research. Salons and Ateliers are principally designed for our members. Salons are member conversations where we really don't produce anything outside of getting our members together around a topic and making sure that they get to know each other and kind of hopefully network. Ateliers are member-driven workshops, so we've now got a plan in place this year where if a member wants to run a workshop about anything, as long as they can check off about our 12 criteria, we'll support them, provide them kind of our audience, our platform, and a number of other things to do workshops with people. And so we're looking for 6 leaders in this camp. Last couple things here. We have an online Swan community that we're planning, and this is probably deserves at least a little bit more attention. We've worked with a software vendor. They seem to check out well. And so we're looking to actually, as recent as this or as soon as this week, to plan out what does this online Swan community, launch it on May timing, and hopefully have a page that on an ongoing basis you can find out who's in the guild. You can see where small little roundtables that are self-organizing will happen, see where you can actually learn and unlearn and relearn through master classes, see how you can collaborate, have a bulletin board for what's going on, have a resource area of a lot of the different things that we've done, either video or slides or research reports, hopefully have a member directory, and as well, hopefully through the miracle of crypto, be able to earn Swancoin that you can exchange back for return for either being involved in stuff, having influence. We're going to have an e-commerce store, potentially purchasing stuff through Swancoin there. So that's kind of the guts of our Swan community. The only challenge is this will not happen unless 10 people step up. We've got about 5 people. Historically, we've always had a skeleton crew of people that it just becomes too big of a challenge for them, and it kind of melts away. So we won't promise to do this unless we can have enough people step up and play roles in community management and development. And the last thing, I won't say it's controversial, but it certainly is different than what we've done in the past. We are looking at, on very similar timing to the community, May timing, developing a community that is a tiered community of people that really want to connect deeply, develop their peership with the executive members that are around them. And the goal is to have a premium tier network with probably 7 different things that you can do in this tier network. It would be a paid membership. So in full transparency, in exchange for, and I won't even say what dollar amount because I don't know right now, but in exchange for whatever dollar amount, you would join this premium tier network. And we're taking a few pages out of YPO and a few other networks that are successful global networks that are paid member due driven. And in exchange, you would get privileged opportunities to get free research and to be able to connect in exclusive events with, whether it's authors or thought leaders. And so we think there's value here. I guess the strategic question we had around the start of the year was, if your true goal is to enhance members, if that is at the center of what we do, then our business model should probably be like that too. And so we're trying to balance out the open, free aspects of the Guild and introducing some type of paid premium tier network that, who knows, if you earn enough Swancoin, maybe it isn't paid, you can exchange Swancoin for becoming part of this premium tier network. We're looking for 10 people to attempt to pull this off as well. I won't go through that, and I won't go through some of the other things that we've covered off in different discussions. These are a number of our different events. I will say, in terms of, what you get, it's very similar to our content and publications. We're hopefully building a reputation, introducing you to a Guild audience, providing the backbone for all of this stuff to work, finding collaborators and groups of people that you might want to work with inside the Guild, outside the Guild, creating content channels to make sure that you can have a broadcast to all of the different things that you have, providing a number of things on the right side of the fence that hopefully 1 + 1 = 3. You see that, oh, they produce great research reports, they produce great events, they must be a great community. And on the other side of the fence, hopefully what you bring to the table is our values on the side, a level of performance and integrity that we like to see, putting the Guild gain just as much, if not ahead of your own personal gain, providing some ambassadorship and extending our community out to others, providing connection, and hopefully as we do it, having a bit of fun and a great experience as we go. Next steps, just if I'm going to post these in the live chat here, just ways to get to go, I guess, quicker and declare your interest. So I will put those in our chat and also in the YouTube video that gets published. And then finally, before we break for FAQ and any of the live question commentaries, we're doing these all week. This is our third, as mentioned here. Tomorrow, Valentine's Day, we're giving all the love for research and intelligence. Learning and craft building will be our Thursday discussion. And then experiments and ventures, some of the stuff that you just saw there in terms of all the listing of things that we're doing for commercial ventures, we'll talk about then. Before I get off this with the recorded audience, the anticipated questions I think we'll probably have in our breakout session here. From a community standpoint, how many people do you want as part of the community? As a question people have, because how big does it service? My hope is we get into 4 figures. We know that not all 10,000 of us are going to want to join some kind of community, but on a monthly basis, my ambition would be that more than 4 figures of us gather together for whatever reasons in community. As mentioned, how many people does that require? Well, given what I've just profiled, there's at least 100+ opportunities for people to participate. How do we manage all this traffic and flow? My hope is we can do it through a centralized tech platform. The piece of software is called Disco. If you're interested, they run a lot of the different learning communities for some of the best brands around the world. I tend to know the person, the CEO, and one of the key executives. So I guess part of our proximity to them is actually knowing them, and they're looking out for us as well, which will be great. And then I'm not too sure what other things I can anticipate from our group of people, but I'm really looking forward to finding out. I guess the last thing might be, just this whole tenuous part about how do you balance the open and the free and the collaborative aspects of the Guild with the need to keep the lights on, sustainable, premium, paid membership. And I think there is a avenue to pursue that helps both sides and makes both sides happen. Both need to happen. I think that's the reality of 4 years into the guild. And so we're trying to put that into practice. So we will, I'm sure, talk about with our recorded crew. I look forward to seeing many of you in the next 3 sessions as well. And with that, I will close this segment out and just suggest that I will be seeing all of you in the future.